Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something big, a master's degree in Italy for Indian students. We've got a stack of guides, reports, you name it, and our goal to synthesize all that into a clear, actionable roadmap for you. We want to cover the why, the how, and yeah, the trade-offs too.
And it's needed, definitely needed right now, because
Mm.
things have changed dramatically. I mean, the research shows this incredible jump. Just 10 years ago, maybe 250 Indian students were in Italy.
250, wow.
Yeah, and now, for 2024, we're talking over 12,000.
Uh-huh.
It's a huge shift. Italy's really making a play here in the European academic scene. You need to understand what's driving that.
12,000. Okay, yeah, that's definitely not random. It's a major trend. So what's the big draw? I think the sources were pretty clear on this, weren't they?
They really were. It boils down to this combo. You get these world-class universities, places with real global recognition.
Right.
But, and this is the kicker, the cost is surprisingly low, strategically low even. Plus, you get that amazing cultural immersion.
Okay, let's dig into that core appeal, the money aspect, because that's where things get really, really interesting for students looking at Europe, I think.
Absolutely. The financials are, well, they're a huge part of the story. If you're looking at public universities and you manage to get in, the annual fees can range from basically zero.
Zero. How?
Well, if you qualify for certain regional grants, often based on family income, but even without that, you're often looking at up to maybe 5,000 euros a year. Compare that to the UK, the US, Canada.
It's a massive difference, a game changer, really.
Exactly. Now, private universities, obviously, that's a different bracket. They start around 3,000 and can go up to 35,000 per year. Depends on the school, the program.
But it's not just about being cheap, right? The sources emphasize this isn't just discounted education. This affordability is linked to quality, specifically in certain fields.
Precisely. It feels like a deliberate strategy. Italy seems to be subsidizing education to attract talent, particularly in areas where they need skilled workers. Think engineering, design, tech, business.
So they're investing in human capital. Makes sense.
It does.
Yeah.
And if you want to get into those high-demand fields, you're looking at some real heavy hitters academically. Politecnico di Milano, for instance, world-renowned for engineering, architecture, design, and they actively offer scholarships for international students.
Politecnico di Milano, yeah, huge name. And then there's Bologna.
Ah, the University of Bologna, Europe's oldest university. It's got this incredible history, strong in humanities, economics, sciences. That history alone adds something, you know.
Definitely.
Then for business and economics, the big one is Bocconi University in Milan. Global reputation, really strong corporate connections, great internships.
Okay.
And don't forget Sapienza, University of Rome. It's massive, huge range of programs,
Oh,
arts,
see.
sciences, top-tier engineering, really comprehensive.
So incredible institutions, but the experience isn't just lectures, right? The sources also talked about the networking, the culture. Oh, absolutely. That's a massive part of the value. You're studying alongside people from all over the world.
Right.
You're living in Italy. The art, the history, the food, those connections you make, that cultural fluency, that's stuff you carry into your career. Invaluable.
Okay, so the appeal is clear. Quality education, affordable price, amazing culture. But let's shift gears. Let's talk about the how. If 12,000 students are making this move, what did the sources say about the actual process? The hurdles.
Right, the practical side. Let's break down the checklist.
What are the absolute must-haves,
Yeah.
the non-negotiables?
Okay, first things first. You absolutely need a relevant bachelor's degree, and it generally needs to be from a recognized, reputable institution.
Makes sense.
Second, your grades matter a lot. There's
Yeah.
usually a minimum GPA requirement, typically somewhere between 60% and 70%. If you don't hit that mark, honestly, your application probably won't get very far.
60 to 70%. Okay. That sets a clear bar.
Yeah.
Now, what about language? This comes up a lot. Most Indian students aim for English-taught programs, right? But you're living in Italy. Good question. There's definitely a dual track here. For the English programs, which are very popular, yes, you need to prove your English skills. Usually that means an IELTS score, maybe 6.0 or 6.5, or a TOEFL score around 80 or higher.
Standard stuff.
Pretty standard. But if you're adventurous and go for a program taught in Italian, then you'll need official certification, something like CIELTS or CELI. That proves you're fluent enough for academic work in Italian.
Okay, so you meet the grades, you sort the language requirement. What's the actual admission process look like? Can we walk through it step by step, maybe more like a strategy guide?
Let's do that. Think of it like a campaign. Step 1. Choose your program wisely. Don't just pick a university. Pick a program that aligns with your career goals and the university's strengths, like matching Politecnico di Milano with engineering ambitions.
Deep research up front. Got it.
Step 2. Gather your documents. Transcripts, CV, language certificates, all the usual suspects. But crucially, you need a really strong letter of motivation.
Ah, the motivation letter. Why is that so important?
Because it's your chance to explain why. Why Italy? Why this specific university? How do your goals fit with what they offer? Maybe even with Italy's broader goals for attracting talent. It needs to be compelling.
Okay, so put real effort into that letter. Step 3.
Step 3. Apply online. Use their dedicated portals for international students. Be careful, be thorough. Mistakes here can cause serious delays.
Right, then you wait.
Step 4. Wait for the admission decision. And be ready, some programs, especially competitive ones like Design or Business at Bocconi, might require an interview. Skype, maybe even in person.
Good to know. And the final hurdle, the visa. That always sounds complicated.
Step 5. Secure the visa. It'll be a Type D student visa for programs longer than 90 days. This isn't just filling out forms. You need proof of admission, health insurance, and this is critical proof of financial stability.
What does that involve? Showing bank statements?
Usually, yes. You often need to show you have enough funds to cover your tuition plus living expenses for at least the first year. The embassy has specific amounts calculated. It's a significant documentation hurdle. Don't underestimate it.
And the timing on all this. The sources seemed quite urgent about deadlines.
Oh, absolutely urgent. Here's a key takeaway. Apply early. Deadlines might officially stretch from December to March, but for popular programs, the real window closes much sooner. Waiting until the last minute is a recipe for rejection. Be proactive. Get everything ready now.
Okay, very clear advice. Start early. Now, assuming you get that acceptance letter, how do you actually fund this dream? What did the sources say about scholarships and financial aid?
Good news is there are several avenues. We found 3 main types, plus some regional ones. First, look into Italian government scholarships. These can be quite generous, sometimes covering tuition and living costs, but they're competitive, based on merit.
Government aid, check. What else?
Second, almost every major university offers its own scholarships. These might be partial fee waivers, sometimes full waivers. You need to check each university's website for specifics and deadlines.
University-specific aid. Makes sense. What about broader European programs?
Yes, there's the Erasmus Plus program that offers mobility scholarships if you're moving within Europe or coming in. And definitely look into regional grants. We saw mentions of the Invest Your Talent in Italy program, IYT. That one seems specifically designed to attract top international students in STEM fields, so it could be very helpful.
IYT. Okay, worth noting for STEM folks. Now let's talk about the day-to-day budget. The sources gave a range something like 700 to 1,500 euro a month for living costs. That seems quite wide. And you mentioned housing shortages earlier, right? In places like Milan or Rome, is 700 euro really realistic?
That's a really sharp question, and you're right to be skeptical. That 700 figure, that's probably the absolute best case scenario. Maybe if you snag a spot in subsidized student housing, which is tough, or if you live in a much smaller, less expensive city.
So for the big cities.
For hubs like Rome, Milan, Bologna, realistically, you need a budget higher. The sources break it down like this. Accommodation, even shared flats or dorms, expect 300 to 600 euro a month on average. But in central areas of big cities, it can easily jump over 800.
Wow. So finding housing early is just as vital as applying early.
Absolutely critical. Book accommodation months in advance if possible. Food costs are more manageable, maybe 150 to 250 euros a month if you cook at home. Transportation is usually quite affordable, around 30 to 50 euros a month, often with student discounts. But yeah, planning for the higher end of that 700, 1,500 a range, especially concerning rent, is definitely the safer bet.
Okay, that paints a clearer, maybe slightly tougher financial picture. Good to know. Now let's talk ROI, return on investment. You get the degree, you've navigated the costs. What about jobs? The sources seemed pretty specific about where the demand is.
Very specific. The Italian job market, especially for new graduates, is really focused on technical skills, areas where Italy is looking to grow and modernize. We consistently see high demand for engineers, IT professionals, software developers, and also designers.
So tech and design are hot.
Definitely. And here's a key insight. Internships are incredibly important. Many sources highlighted that internships frequently convert into full-time job offers. For non-EU graduates, that's often the fastest route to employment, especially in those high-demand fields.
Right, that makes sense. Get your foot in the door with an internship.
For those non-EU students who want to stay long-term after graduation, what are the pathways?
There are essentially 2 main routes. The first is the EU Blue Card. It's a work permit for highly skilled non-EU workers across the EU, including Italy. Getting one is a big plus. The second is a standard Italian post-study work permit.
The blue card sounds advantageous. It offers more mobility within the EU eventually. Also, don't overlook the startup scene. Sources mentioned growing tech and design hubs, places like Turin and Milan, creating new opportunities, often looking for exactly the kind of international talent these master's programs attract.
Okay, promising prospects, especially in certain sectors. But this is the deep dive, so we need the full picture. What about the challenges, the hurdles? What do the sources say students should be prepared for?
Good point. No international experience is without its difficulties. We flagged 4 main areas from the research. First, the language barrier, again.
Even if your course is in English.
Yes, your classes might be in English, but daily life isn't. Dealing with landlords, navigating bureaucracy, shopping, socializing. Basic Italian makes everything smoother. And for jobs, even in international companies, some Italian often gives you a real advantage, opens more doors.
Okay, language is key for integration and career. What's second?
Second, job competition. While demand is high in tech and engineering, overall, the Italian job market can be competitive, especially for non-technical roles or outside the major northern cities. Networking becomes absolutely crucial. You can't just rely on applying online.
Networking. Got it. Third challenge.
Third, cultural adaptation. It takes time to adjust to a new culture, new social norms. The sources suggest being proactive. Join clubs, engage with local communities, and definitely connect with existing Indian student associations. They can be a fantastic support system.
Makes sense. Find your community. And the last one.
The last one circles back to something practical. Housing. We mentioned the shortages in big cities. It's a real challenge. Finding affordable, decent accommodation can be stressful and might inflate your costs if you're not prepared.
Right. That housing issue seems persistent. Needs serious planning.
So putting it all together, synthesizing this roadmap. Success really hinges on preparation. Deep research, upfront matching programs to actual job market needs in Italy. Meticulous financial planning, budgeting realistically, especially for living costs, and understanding the visa-proof requirements. And just sheer proactivity, getting documents, applications, housing sorted out early, way earlier than you might think.
Excellent summary. And to wrap things up, let's distill the absolute top advice from the experts in these sources. If you want to thrive, not just survive, what are the key actions?
The sources were remarkably consistent on 3 things. 1, learn basic Italian. Start now. Seriously, it just makes everything easier, life, jobs, everything.
Number 1, learn Italian. Number 2.
Number 2, network like crazy, talk to professors, connect with alumni, engage with current students. Those personal connections are often the key to unlocking internships and jobs.
Okay, network relentlessly. And
Third, use the university's career services. Go to the career fairs. Use the placement support. These services are designed to connect students with employers. They're a direct pipeline. Don't ignore them.
learn Italian, network, use career services. Solid advice.
And maybe one final thought, connecting this all back to the bigger picture Italy seems to be painting. The sources suggest Italy is strategically using affordable, high-quality education, especially in STEM and design, to attract international talent and fill crucial skill gaps in its economy.
Right, adjusting their own economic needs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the question for you to think about is this. As Italy continues down this path, focusing heavily on attracting STEM and engineering talent, particularly from places like India, how might this deliberate policy shape Italy's economic future? And looking long-term, what role will this rapidly growing Indian diaspora play in forging stronger economic links between India and the European Union as a whole?
That's a fascinating strategic question to ponder. A lot to think about there. Well, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into getting a master's in Italy. We really hope this roadmap helps you plan your journey.
Hope it was useful.
We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.